What's up guys, Mr. 2304 here. I was anime tagged by Green Ookami, and so yeah, thanks for that. And I've got some questions to answer. The first one was, who is your favourite anime producer? Now I'm actually not too knowledgeable on this, but I think I've got some answers anyway. And I've watched the Bleach anime the entire way through, and I think Studio Pierrot did a really good job with it actually. For the most part, some parts look terrible. But I think they did a good job. You know, the OST is fantastic. The animation, some parts of the animation is absolutely beautiful. For example, the beginning of the Zanpakuto Rebellion arc. Even with most of the filler, they did a pretty good job. The start of the Reigai arc, the final battle with Ulquiorra, even some of the final battle with Aizen looked pretty amazing. But I do think they dropped the ball in certain places. I'm not sure if this counts, but there's also Studio Gilby, who make a lot of films, Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, Totoro. They are really nice, and they have really nice films, and the animation quality there is fantastic as well. But there's also, I watched the OVA Hellsing Ultimate, which is done by Genian, I think it's pronounced like that anyway, which is a really, really nice OVA. The animation is unlike anything I'd ever seen before, and I think the attention to detail in the Hellsing Ultimate OVA is pretty phenomenal. But, having said those three, my number one anime producer for just a series in general is Bones. They made the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood series, and it's just a beautiful series. Music, animation never drops the ball, and that's the thing. It just looks so great. The lighting and all the alchemy and the transmutations, everything just looks so good. Always looks so good. I desperately want to own it in Blu-ray because it is an amazing looking series, and Bones blew it away. They did such a good job. Honourable mention actually would probably be whoever did Death Note, because that looks fantastic as well. So if you know who did Death Note, please leave that in the comments below, because I completely forgot that one. So the second question I was asked is, who, once the big three are over, who do you think will be in the big three next? Now this is a difficult question to ask, a really difficult question for the most part, because it's kind of a two-way thing. Naruto is pretty close to being over, and Bleach has got maybe 6-7 years left. But, so I think with these two, you can say Toriko, definitely, it's huge in Japan. Maybe not doing so well in the West, but it's huge in Japan. And, you know, it's going to take one of those two places, if Naruto, whoever finishes first. But the problem here is One Piece. It's a religion in Japan, and it's got no end in sight. So it's difficult to ask, really, because it's just going to keep going. For all we know, some of the series that take place in the big three, or that could have taken its place in the big three, will be over before One Piece is. So it's difficult to decide. But I do think Toriko will be there. Assassination Classroom is interesting. I don't think it's going to be that long. I don't know what I'm basing that off, but I don't think it's going to be long enough to wait for One Piece. Because, you know, I have all this kind of idea that the big three are long series, you know, epics, if you will. There was a series that could have potentially taken its place, Fairy Tail. However, as of late, that's literally become one of the worst series ever. It had been going downhill for me for a while, actually, but basically halfway through the Daimato Embo arc. And then, geez, what happened? I mean, it's gone off the radar. The anime's gone. Reviewers are hating on it. So Fairy Tail does not stand much of a chance anymore. So Toriko's definitely there. Assassination Classroom, maybe. I've heard people say D. Greyman. Yeah. I don't see why not. The problem is, you have to remember that the big three are named as such because they made Shonen Jump what it is today, pretty much. Is there ever going to be a trio of series that does that again? No. No, I don't think so. I don't think there is. Obviously, you've got to count Dragon Ball Z as well as being the flagship for Western manga, pretty much. And you have to remember that Dragon Ball Z is over, and they still promote it like hell. It's one of those things in that game with One Piece and Toriko. So that tells you right there, doesn't it, that the impact these manga make isn't replicated that easily. I don't think it's a simple case of going, that's the next big three. Look at that. That's done well in sales occasionally. No, it's just not. The big three is a generation. You know, it's when you think of Shonen Jump, they're what you think of. Sure, things like Bleach have been slipping recently. Well, actually, no, not recently. Bleach has been kicking ass recently. Beforehand, it was slipping. And you know, this the fourth Shinobi World War arc in Naruto's not doing all that great. But it's what you think of, and the thing is, they're huge in the West as well, and I think that's a big plus. Like I said, Toriko's, and I think Fairy Tail is going to sink now. They had high hopes with the anime, but it's been cancelled. It's just going to sink. So yeah, that's kind of what I think. I think if we have to say Toriko, maybe S-Class because it's done better than One Piece in some places, and that's impressive. That is a feat. And I really don't know. Maybe something like D-Gray Man. But it's pretty obvious, and I think it's becoming quite a fact, that Shonen Jump is looking for a new battle manga, or that they're moving away from battle manga, from these long epics as their focus, as you can see in the popularity of Assassination Classroom. The initial popularity of Hungry Joker that's kind of disappearing. So yeah, that's a difficult question to answer. Final question. Favourite anime villain that doesn't, you know, become a good guy later on, say Vegeta, or even potentially Grim Joe, something like that. Anyone who's watched my videos will probably know who I'm going to say. So let's go through the potentials first. Frieza. Green Ookami brought this up, and good point. Good point. Frieza is an awesome, awesome villain. Seriously, I mean, like, Dragon Ball Z starts, and you have Raditz and Vegeta and Nappa come in later, and they're alright. They do instill quite a good feeling of fear, but Frieza, you know, he's there. He just kills people for no reason. And he's just all about conquest. He's all about the abolition of races. He's just an awesome villain. And admittedly, his final fight takes a little bit too long. But by the end of it, it's ridiculously epic. As Namek is just blowing up. From Naruto, Orochimaru. However, he does appear to be having some kind of a weird change of heart. I hope he doesn't, because that'll invalidate him from this list. But for the time being, you know, he's still pretty defiantly evil. And he's disgusting, you know, he's a disgusting being. But you really like him for it. You know, the way he comes out of his own mouth and stuff is really weird. Really weird to see. If I had to plump with a Naruto villain, though, Toby. No doubt about it. Some people might say Madara, but he's only just appeared. Yeah, he's cool, and yeah, we're getting his past, and yeah, we know he has a flashback with Hashirama. But Toby is the one who's kind of orchestrated everything from the beginning of the Akatsuki arc. He gave Nagato the Rinnegan, so therefore he posed as Madara. Yes, the big reveal of Obito was definitely disappointing, and he's kind of deteriorated as a villain ever since. But you can't deny that Toby throughout the series has been very cool. Another character, back to FMA Brotherhood, Father, otherwise known as Homunculus, otherwise known as the Dwarf in the Flask. Awesome, awesome, awesome villain. I was rewatching the series, and he's just so cool. Everything he does he's pure evil, because he, you know, removed his sins to create one of the greatest villainous groups in manga and anime in all time, in my opinion. And his final battle is great. The way he just kind of sits there and creates this sun in the palm of his hand, awesome. He's an awesome villain, and just the way that he's interesting, because a lot of these villains you can't really relate to. And I'm not going to say Father's relatable, but he's understandable. When he's getting pulled into the door by truth, and he's just like, tell me what I was supposed to do. What was I supposed to do? It's sublime. Because in the end, you realise that he had the same misunderstanding of the universe that everyone does. And it's so poignant. And that really builds his character. Really, it's amazing how they do that. But, number one, the anime villain for me is Aizen from Bleach. Aizen, everyone. The Troll King. Mr. Bitch Curl. I would like to say Jihar Bark as well. He's not my favourite, but he's getting there. He's doing a damn good job. But for the time being, it's definitely Aizen. Oh man, I just love everything about this guy. The way he can't even answer a question without being a complete douchebag about it. Because it's in the Karakura battle, and Shinji's like, when did you start using Kyokusui Getsu? And instead of saying, oh, at the beginning, Aizen has to be all like, when did I? What an amusing question. And he's just like, he's out to annoy. He does have a bit of a villainous breakdown, but Kubo seems to have realised this, and he's kind of made him a bit of a suave badass again. They couldn't even kill him. I mean, for God's sake, it doesn't get much better than that. He's got an awesome Zanpakuto. Maybe not my favourite, but my favourite is probably Katen Kyokotsu, but Kyokusui Getsu, it lets you do anything. And he pulls off such awesome things, like with Momo, the whole bait and switch. And let's not forget his whole deception reveal. Probably it's still up there in my top Bleach moments, when he ascends to heaven and it's just like, oh my god, this guy was evil the whole time. And then his whole running the Espada and just being like, oh, we're being attacked, but let's have some tea. Doesn't get more badass. The definition of badass is Aizen. He's so cool. So cool. He's so quotable as well, for God's sake. It's just like, his don't say such strong words, they make you look weak. Admiration is the emotion furthest from understanding. Everything about him, he's so awesome. And he has such a dynamic duo with Gin as well. Great, great character. So that's it for the anime tag. Thanks, Green Ookami. Check out some reviewers. Green Ookami, Kuno9613, Walking 00 Dead. Check them all out. They're all awesome. I'll leave the description in the links in the description below. Also, you can check out my fan page on Facebook. Don't forget to like it. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe. And I've got another anime tag coming up, so watch out for that. Until then, see you later, guys.